Like, let's go balls out. Not literally balls out, but
Oh man, you want me to go balls out, bro? We go balls out, man. I even go balls
I
to the
mean, like,
walls, brother.
my
Let's go.
the carpet matches the
We
drapes,
haven't
so I
gotten
don't.
to strike yet, so let's keep with that.
The carpet matches the drapes, so I don't know if how much the monetization I could possibly go towards, but
Well, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen,
let's put it this way: we don't make a lot on the podcast right now, and if you pull your balls out, we're going to continue to not make a lot.
I mean, freedom.
I don't know. You got people with fetishes out there, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, it's freedom of speech, not freedom of balls.
I exercise my speech through my body.
But you got to be ballsy enough to exercise that free speech.
Hey, look, science proves that 99% of communication is due to body language.
And that's why my balls are out.
Exactly.
Welcome, everyone, to the Article 1776 podcast. We are your host, Matthew Kicklighter, aka MK Warhammer. This is my business partner.
Scottsdale 87.
Welcome, welcome. And today we have a wonderful, badass veteran guest. Introduce yourself.
I'm the one, yours truly, the only, the popcorn kernel.
There you go.
So generic, huh?
Keep it original. Like, be you. Like, let's go balls out. Not literally balls out, but.
Oh man, you want me to go balls out, bro? We go balls out, man. I even go balls to the
mean,
walls,
like,
brother. Let's go.
The carpet matches the drapes.
We
so
haven't
I
gotten
don't-
to strike yet, so let's keep with that.
the carpet matches the drapes, so I don't know if how much the monetization I could possibly go towards, but
Well, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen,
let's put it this way: we don't make a lot on the podcast right now, and if you pull your balls out, we're going to continue to not make a lot.
I mean, freedom.
I don't know. You got people with fetishes out there, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, it's freedom of speech, not freedom of balls.
I exercise my speech through my body.
But you got to be ballsy enough to exercise that free speech.
Hey, look, science proves that 99% of communication is due to body language.
And that's why my balls are out.
Exactly.
Oh, the bad part is my wife is sitting right here.
All right.
Hi, Evie. By the way, go check out evknits.com.
Yeah, go check out evknits.com. She sells hats, sweater scarves, not sweaters. Well, she got fuzzy socks now. She makes her own fuzzy socks now.
Fuzzy socks. Yo, I want some fuzzy socks, man.
Yo, hey, just tell me what color you want, and we'll get you set up with some fuzzy socks.
Yo.
So now that we got our balls on the table,
Don't tell me you want to suck them.
I mean, I'll put here I am willing to put starch on your balls and suck them and just kind of.
This is the company that I surround myself with, a bunch of dirty ass veterans. I love it.
That's what happens when you put two veterans together, man. I mean,
Well, see, now here's the thing. He's a Marine. We're Army.
it doesn't matter. A veteran is a veteran. Let me tell you something. let me tell you something about when it comes to multi-branches, right? We'll sit here and we'll talk shit about each other, right? And we'll even fight each other. But the minute that there's an opposing force trying to fight one of us, we all gang up together against that opposing force.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
that's how it
Because
happens.
exactly what
we could only only us could fuck with each other. Nobody else could fuck with us.
it's exactly what Nico Ortiz does with the Army and the Marine Corps type of stuff, going raw and just punching each other. But at the end of the day, we know exactly. We can read each other's minds on some bullshit, whether if it's
Yeah.
fighting on the front lines or fucking people doing some weird shit. So that's the way that it is.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll give you a quick story, man. Like when I was a baby Joe stationed in Germany, there was a spot that I used to go to. Well, all the service members used to go to, regardless of which branch of service. And but the Army and Marine Corps, we were always getting into fights against each other and stuff like that, right? And I remember one time sitting at that bar, and a random group of guys. These were civilian Joes. All right. All of a sudden, decide to start talking shit about Army because they're pro Marines and this and that. Like, yeah, the Marine Corps is da da da. And the Marines look at them like, yo, who the fuck are you? We don't know you. And we all just ganged up on them. And it was a bunch of us. It was just it wasn't just Army and Marines. It was Air Force and Navy that was there too. And we all just ganged up on these guys, kicked them
Air
right out the
Force,
bar. Yeah. Like, yo, you don't talk shit about something you don't know. We'll talk shit about each other. We'll fight each other, right? But you fuck around with one of us,
You find
it's
out.
like, yeah, oh, that's it, man. It's just like, it's like a brotherhood, man. Brothers can fuck around with brothers,
Yeah.
right? But the minute somebody else fucks around with one of the brothers, all the brothers and sisters gang up against that person fucking around,
I had a best
that's
friend
it,
of mine.
man.
I had a best friend of mine that was I was stationed. We were both stationed in Camp Lejeune, but he was intel, a part of my unit. I was 0311, infantry, of course So
Yep.
his wife was a hospital medic over in Bragg, about an hour away from Lejeune, and so during the time that he was away from like a field op, I happened to notice some dudes just kind of trying to be fucky wucky with her, and I just came in from the side like, hey, yo, don't do that. It's my like my little sister at the time, and then my best friend. She's married to my best friend, and stay off that road. Just like no, because there were some civilian dudes that were trying to hit it. Like, good luck with that shit. And it's like we watch each other's backs all the time for that.
Yeah, it's like no matter what, I've noticed that no matter what branch you guys are in, at the end of the day, it's all the same fucking job.
Yeah. I love that
So-
background, by the way. It brings out.
So
it
natural.
brings
Like I'm out in the sticks, and he disappears.
It brings out the
Oh, I'm
colors
right
in your
here.
eyes.
Oh, Papi Chulo, what's up?
Oh, just right here.
I decided, you know what? Let me
Like,
try something different.
I'm literally outside right now.
That's his bad. Are you sure that's not your background? Your green screen.
I mean, yeah, it could be now.
Guys, give me 1 second. I will be right back. I apologize.
You're good.
Apologize.
Yeah. Clean yourself. So it's like I got some interesting topics. Like it's weird because what's been going on over the past like few days. I don't know if you've seen it. The shit that's been going on with Tulsi Gabbard and what's her name? I recently saw it on Instagram.
Pelosi?
Pelosi. Did you see that shit?
No, I did not. What happened?
So
I know she left the Democratic Party.
no, Tulsi Gabbard did.
Yeah, I know she left the Democratic Party. I know she's with the Republican Party now.
Is she-
But I do not know what happened between her and Pelosi.
Well, not between her and Pelosi. What happened to Pelosi is that there are people. There were she was around in like some I think it, and I might be from what it looked like. Of course, Instagram cuts shit short, so I'm not going to say I can't say what race it was, but it looked like a Native American rally or something like that. And as she was trying to speak, They were saying no more bullshit, no more bullshit, and she just got mad and said, "You want? Seems like you don't want answers."
Pelosi is.
I don't want any more bullshit.
Yeah. See what we were talking about here, Pop Colonel, is that some interesting shit has gone on over this past few days or this past weekend. Like Tulsi Gabbard. You see what happened to? You hear what happened to her?
I hear nothing, bro.
She's leaving the Democratic Party.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
leaving
dude.
she's leaving the Democratic Party.
Is she becoming Republican now?
Yes, from what I've
Oh,
heard.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
From what I've heard.
Have you actually listened to her speak though? Like she hits every, and I said this the other day to Warhammer. She hits every nail on the Democratic coffin right on the head with everything she says. Every point that they're trying to push, the whole pushing of the CRT in the school systems, pushing, it's weird saying it, but pushing mainstream media for like, the promotion of violence and drugs and gangs and shit. Like, she's calling all this shit out, and then that's when people get upset.
Well, I mean, from what I heard, from what she says and stuff like that, I mean, she's calling it out, man, as she sees it as it is. And the fact of the matter is this, man, we live in a society today where people get offended by the truth.
That's what it is.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, we
you're
talked about
absolutely
that
right.
last night.
Yeah. People get offended by the truth, and that's people don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear this little sob story lie. They want the little wee, or no little Johnny this, or no little Johnny that. They don't want to hear the freaking truth because the truth offends them. All right,
That's
and
when
then
they get mad.
yeah, and that's when they get mad because they're believing this freaking lie, this fantasy, okay? And their fantasy is what the truth is. All right? For example, I remember when I was in college, okay? I was sitting in this I was taking cross-cultural psychology, okay? And in there, the professor was asking me about my military experience, more along the lines questioning my experience in Iraq and Afghanistan. So, I gave her my experiences. Obviously, there are certain things that I don't like to talk about as far as some of these deployments. But I gave her my opinion based on, well, not my opinion, but I gave her, I shared with her some stories based on personal experience and how I interpreted these things. In this class right there, this was this young lady, okay, who said, well, that's not true. That only happens in the movies. I mean, think about it.
Like
Yeah.
a dog, bro.
Yeah, exactly. This other student, a female student, said, well, that's not true. That only happens in the movies. The world isn't like that. And I'm looking at this. I look at this young lady. I said, you have no experience except for what you grew up around.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. You have not been, I said, and I asked her, I said, have you ever even been outside of the state of New Jersey? Because she was from Jersey. Okay, I said to her, I said, have you ever even been outside of the state of New Jersey? She goes, no, but I don't need to because I know what's out there and I know that the news lies. And I'm like, okay, the news lies. You're right about that.
Good job,
However,
right?
however, there is some truth to the news as to what happens around the world with some of those kids in other countries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? But my point is this: people are just caught in this little bubble that they consider to be reality. Okay, when all it is just this bubble. And they've never experienced anything outside of this bubble.
It's
So
an
me and
therefore,
him were-
anything out of there doesn't happen. It's a lie.
Yeah, it's an
Me and
echo
him were
chamber.
talking last night. Yeah, exactly. No, you're absolutely right. Me and him were
What'd he
talking
say?
last night about this. Say it again, Warhammer.
Yeah, it's an echo chamber. They're only hearing what they want to hear and choosing.
Yeah.
here's the thing, and I'm smart enough to how to utilize the internet and like fucking antivirus and stuff like that. What I know is that if you search up a certain item, so say like if I were to search up bean bags, like how to fucking search up. Recently, I've been getting up more computer shit for the laptops, the podcasts, everything else. Once I search upon that, internet, everything, social media garners towards what I want to shop for. The same thing goes with politics. If you vote for, if you go on some certain thing with the Democrat or Republican, you're only hearing that one thing. I search up more than just that one side, because I know if I were to search up one side and one side only, I'm caught up in an echo chamber of what the fuck, like not hearing anyone's thoughts or hearing anyone's facts. I love to have my thoughts and opinions kind of challenged and kind of say like, oh, okay, you might be right with this or that, because. And here's the thing: some people are so much caught in their fucking echo chambers that they don't want to be challenged with their own mental thoughts or opinions. Everyone's just a racist or just a
Well,
some
me
type
and
of supremacist.
me and Colonel were actually talking about it last night,
That's
and
what I'm
he
laughing.
actually brought up a really good point. Um, the reason I think the media fuels the fire the way it does is because they know people love drama. That's what gets clicks. That's what gets clicks. Like, I get all kinds of bad shit on my news feed every day. And I click on some of it because I'm like, well, how the fuck did anybody let this happen? How did somebody let that happen? It's like, oh, okay, well, you have stricter gun laws, so someone gets robbed and killed in Central Park, well, because you can't own a fucking gun in New York. It's, maybe if a civilian has the ability to own and possess a firearm legally and has proper training, he might be able to, go home to his family at the end of the night. You know?
Here's
Like,
here's the thing. Here's the reason why I question kind of moving to New Jersey, states like that, because I spent some time in Connecticut. Is what you mentioned to me off podcast earlier, Scottsdale, is that you would have to have permission in order to get rounds. Extra
yeah,
permission.
you have to. I actually have to go next week to get my fingerprints done so I can even purchase ammo,
Well, what kind of ammo are you trying to purchase?
rifle rounds.
What kind of rifle?
Well, either 5.56 or 2.23. But when we went, so we
Oh,
go
five,
to.
yep. 5.56, you need that. But if you
Yeah,
were to
see-
order, if you were to buy like 7.62, 30 caliber, 308, stuff like that, you could purchase that easily.
But I have to have a fucking permit to get 5.56. What about 2.23? Because I have a multi-cal rifle.
Yeah, well, 223 and 5.56 are the same round.
Well, yeah, well, yes and no, but also no.
I mean, because what's a 5.56? A
a
5.56
5.56 is a
caliber.
2.23, just a little spicier. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a little spicier. The only difference is really the casing.
exactly.
You know,
So
what-
now,
and-
if I
yeah.
have a 40 cal, like I have a 40 cal, like what about that? Can I just buy ammo for that?
Is it, well, depends. Is it a 40 cal pistol or is it a 40 caliber rifle?
40 cal pistol.
You need to get fingerprinted for that.
See what I mean?
Yeah, because any round related to a handgun or any round that's related to an assault rifle that can be used in an assault rifle, i.e. 5.56, 223. In the state of New Jersey, there are certain requirements you have to meet to get
Hang
it.
on a second, real
Yeah.
quick. I want to clarify for YouTube the reason I have ammunition is because I'm actually sitting out back in the woods or right fucking there, and we had a bear run through my front yard the other day. So I'm not taking any chances.
Got to
Don't
protect the
kiss my
kids.
hand.
all the shit that y'all are talking right now is foreign to this Floridian. So I'm just gonna sit back and eat my crayon.
Well, I live in Pennsylvania. All right, so on when open season, the first day of open season, there are more rifles on hunting grounds, okay, than there are people in the state of Pennsylvania. Here in Pennsylvania, yeah, and also the state of Pennsylvania has more weapons, quote unquote. I'm going to call them weapons because that's what the world likes to call them. I call them tools, right?
Weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, right. And there are more rifles and handguns registered in Pennsylvania than there are people. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Florida's the same way, though.
Oh yeah, Florida.
Yeah.
Well, Florida depends on the area because you've got Jacksonville, Miami, and Orlando, which have become.
Yeah, there are parts that are St. Petersburg that are pro-Democrat and believe in.
Yeah.
Did you know that Florida actually does not have a firearm registry?
Well, you still don't do the background checks and all that.
You still have to go through the NRA and all that stuff. Yeah.
You don't have to be on a registry. Like, I bought my pistol. It was in Florida, okay? I did not have to register it with anybody. I did the background check, and they were like, okay, this is what you want. Sign here.
Well,
we'll give you...
That's not true because you still have to register it through an FFL dealer.
Yeah, you still have to go, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but, like, they don't keep it on, like, a Florida national database where they can go, oh, you own this.
So to give you a better... Just saying, not to give further ammunition to where people can say, "Oh, you can go to Florida buy shit." No, like you still have to go through an FFL.
You have to be a citizen. Yeah.
FFL dealer to get that shit registered.
Yeah, you still have to go through an FFL dealer. However, there is no. What he means is there's no state registry.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in Florida. I mean, I lived in Fort Lauderdale, Davie, Florida, to be exact, and I've also lived in Davenport. All right. Matter of fact. Yeah, when I lived in Davenport, I had 357 Magnums, okay? And I just literally walked into a store, bought them, okay? They did a quick background check, and each time I went to buy a new one, I bought with 50 rounds of ammunition, okay? And walked right out. No longer inside the store. I would spend no more than 10 minutes inside the store.
I mean, Florida is a bit... look, Florida and Texas are neck and neck on gun states.
I want... Hey, Pop. I want to give you. Just give me a yay or boo on this one.
All right.
So I'm emptying. Nothing. Of course, you see YouTube.
Nah, you know what? It'd be more interesting if you didn't empty and accidentally shoot yourself in the toe.
So it's empty. Bang. Now it's empty.
All right. The chamber's clear. Got it.
Taurus. TH9.
All right.
Take on it.
Let me know when you want to play with the big boys.
Fuck.
I told you should have gotten a 40 cal. When you got that, I said, go.
Hold on.
Now, honestly, though, in my honest opinion, I'm just busting chops. My honest opinion, it's actually a really good pistol. Okay, it's a little fun thing to play with. It's great for self-defense, stuff like that. But if you're into a tactical shooting, that's not the pistol you really want to go with.
All right, next one. Glock 22 Gen 3.
I'd prefer the 40, but okay. I can see why you would get that.
Yeah, a little fun.
That's a 40. That is a 40, isn't it?
No, that's a 22.
It's a 40. 40 cal.
That's a 40?
Yeah.
I thought you said, no, hold on. Really? That's a 40? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you said, I thought that was a 22 Gen 3.
It is.
I have a 23 Gen 4.
But it goes in a 40.
I have a
See, now that's
23 Gen 4. Yeah.
You know what I'm looking for right now?
What's that?
What?
Old school, 'cause I'm a big revolver guy, man. I love revolvers. Right?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a Colt Detective Special. I'm looking for Colt Detective Special 308 service revolver.
You know, the one gun I really, really want. I know a company makes this, so I know I'm able to get it, which is why I want it. Is a M1 Garand chambered in 4570.
I know a guy that has 2 of them.
I'm thinking about getting a
Chambered in
357.
45.7.
357 Magnum.
I'm gonna correct myself. He has 2 M1 Garands, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't think
I know. Well, hold on. I know one of them has the sniper conversion kit. Yeah, the
Wow.
militarized sniper conversion kit. That I do know.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That would be one to have, just because I want to hear the clink.
Yep. So
So
Clink.
yeah, we were talking about Pop. Did you see what happened to what's her name?
Pelosi.
Not Pelosi. Yeah, did you see what happened to her?
no, I didn't, bro. I'll be honest with you, man. I stay away from politics as much as possible because politics piss me off.
Yeah.
Watching this shit on TV, I usually just read about it,
Yeah.
but I read about it once all the facts have been gathered, so I could get all of the facts rather
You're
than
the
just
same way
opinions.
As me. You're the
Yep.
same way as me.
So
And I gotta do some, as like I said, I gotta do some more research about it. I don't know the whole entire topic, but
Nope.
apparently, from what I've heard, Pelosi was over at some convention, and then got overturned or something like that, where people were just shouting, "No more bullshit! No more bullshit!" And then she was just like stormed out and saying something like, "Oh, you want? Looks like you don't want answers." No, people are just tired of political bullshit that is fed to us.
Well, she's known for shutting down when she gets questioned.
Yeah,
Her husband
get-
dumped a
no.
bunch of money into Nvidia right before the 30 series graphics cards came out.
yeah,
He dumped millions of dollars into Nvidia and made millions of dollars off of it. You know, because he got a little bit of like insider trading information. So her entire political reign's been kind of revolved around that. And when she gets questioned about it, she shuts down. She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then she storms off the freaking stage, and then she doesn't want to answer questions. It's like the female version of Biden.
she's a
He
big
never
baby,
wants
bro.
to answer. I mean, a lot of politicians are, though. I mean, I'll go on a
Again,
limb
back
and
to our
say every politician
back,
is a fucking baby.
back to our conversation yesterday. They play the baby part because people like drama. And it's like I told you yesterday. You put drama and a documentary next to each other. Okay? A factual documentary right next to each other. 9 out of 10 people, actually, you know what? I'm being generous. 99 out of 100 people will watch the drama.
Yeah, I'm the documentary guy, so I can see that.
yeah.
I like facts. I like the truth. I don't need to be hearing, oh, did you hear that? You know, little Juniorette decided to go sleep with some guy. I ask questions like, how long has she been dating that guy?
Yeah.
Well, how long has she known the guy? Do you know what based the decision on wanting to sleep with that guy? How do you know that they're not in some sort of secret relationship?
Yeah.
So before I place judgment, I want to know certain facts. That's just an example. So I don't look at the drama. People are just looking at it like, boom. One thing I used to always say, and you probably heard this in the Marine Corps, right? Perception is a bitch.
Yeah.
Okay? Perception is a bitch. Your eyes are 99% lies. What you see is only 1% of the truth because you don't see everything. And unfortunately, people rely too much on their eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing to where I look outside the box for myself and to kind of see the perception as to how I'm presenting. And I know this. Say for instance, I'd rather much teach people like have the facts presented to me than rather much me sounding like an idiot. So like, what you're saying earlier about your friends sleeping with another person, and so like me, I personally I try to just fucking not say anything and then let that person sound like a fucking dumbass if they want to.
Yeah.
And then once they personally ask me like, what do you think about this? And say like, well, did the other person do something to fucking do that, or what type of agreement? Do they have like an open relationship deal? Like, I can't necessarily say like, oh, the person was in the wrong. I don't know the person.
And besides, what is it any of somebody's business who a person decides to sleep with or not?
Yeah.
Well, when you get
You
on a
know,
point of business, like
so
I've learned nowadays that people get offended by everybody else doing shit.
yeah.
Like I have a service dog. I have a service dog in training. So when I take him out places, I take him out places. Okay.
Yeah.
He goes to Costco with me. Took him to Costco a couple weeks ago. Guy was like, well, I didn't think they allowed dogs in here. And I was like, well, he's my service dog. He's allowed to be in here with me. He's actually in the middle of training. He's working right now. And he's like, yeah, show me the papers. And I was like, okay, so first off, fuck you. I don't have to show you papers. It's protected in the actual law itself that I don't have to show you papers.
And not
He's a
not even if a
service.
cop asks for it.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's not like there's a registry, you know. He's a service dog. He's got his collar on. It says service dog. It says service dog in training. He's working.
There, by the way, there actually is a national registry for service dogs.
That is true. He is
Yeah.
not registered service
Yeah.
dog. He is in training.
Yeah, he's in training. Yeah, but I'm just saying there is a registry for service dog.
But so even as he's in training, he's not on that list. He doesn't have to. I don't have to show papers that says he's a service dog in training or he's a service dog or anything. It's not required by the law that I have to show it just some random fucking Joe who asks.
Yeah, no.
And then he got pissed off. He's like, well, you shouldn't have a fucking dog in here. There's people here. And I said, how much does your life suck that you have to be offended by what somebody else is doing with their life? Don't you have shit to buy?
No.
It's like
I try to be nice about this. I said, yes, sir. He's a service dog, though. He's allowed to be with me.
Mm-hmm.
You got pissed off by the facts because you want shit your way. Not everything applies to you that apply. The universe doesn't fucking owe you a goddamn thing. You're not special. The world doesn't love you. You're born. You do your shit. You go away.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have a service dog. I mean, God rest his soul, right? And I had his ID, everything, because he was a registered, nationally registered service dog, right? So I had his ID and everything on his service vest. Okay, all of that good stuff. I even, because his service vest had a little envelope where I would keep his paperwork and stuff like that, because there were also certain instructions on this paperwork in case something were to happen to me. Okay, so this way, first responders would know, what medications, I might be on, what certain things, certain care tactics, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Knowing that the dog is going to react a certain way, if with instructions on there, telling them not to behave certain ways towards me if I'm incapacitated because the dog is trained to react, okay, a certain way. All right, so there were, little things there like that. But anyways. So I'm at a restaurant, okay? I have my dog with me. He's just sitting down, on his hind, he's sitting down on his hind. His legs are up. He's attentive. Ears are up. He's paying attention to everything, letting me know when somebody's coming up from behind, so on and so on, right? And this lady comes in. She sits down on the table next to me. Okay, she's on it. I guess I'm guessing she was on a date. All right. And she's sitting there talking to the gentleman when she finally takes notice to my dog. Okay. She calls the waitress over and tells the waitress that I need to get rid of that dog because the dog is unsanitary. All right. So the waitress, and I'm listening to this, the waitress says, well, ma'am, that dog is a service dog. That dog is allowed to be in here. Okay. We can't do anything about it. So she decides to be a Karen and calls for the manager, the general manager. So the general manager comes out, right? He's trying to tell, look, ma'am, if the dog really is bothering you, we can move you. She goes, I don't need to be the one moving. You need to be moving him and his dog, and you need to be moving him out of the restaurant. All right. Best thing happened. Ma'am, that gentleman right there is a veteran. That is his service dog. Look at the tag on that dog. Okay, and if anybody needs to move, it's you, and you need to move the hell out of my restaurant right now.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And he goes, and I have the right to refuse you service if you have any, if you want to go ahead and question that, or if you want to go ahead and complain to corporate or whatever.
Okay, nah, that's just a Karen getting served her food.
Yep.
That's
Oh yeah.
you felt that W coming your way.
I mean, me, I didn't care because I knew he can't kick me out.
Yeah.
He can
Yeah.
ask me to move, and I would have gladly moved. Okay, because if my dog makes you uncomfortable, all right, I can understand. I understand that there are some people that may be allergic to the dog dander or whatnot. Now, if
Yeah.
she would have said something along the lines like, "Hey, look, I like where I'm sitting, all right, but I am allergic to dog dander. Okay, can you ask him to move?" I would have been like, "Hey, yeah, no problem."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, if you're allergic, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, at the same time, like it's just common respect though. You technically were there first. I
I
mean, you were
was. Yep.
already established inside the restaurant eating your dinner, okay?
Oh yeah.
She came in later and was like, "Yeah, let's sit here." Oh, I didn't realize there was a dog. I
Yep.
mean, if they haven't gotten their food yet, and like it's just drinks and shit, they could have just fucking had the decency to just up and fucking move.
Yeah.
That
No,
would have been one
absolutely.
thing. Be
But
like, if
my point with that story is what we were talking about, and I got sidetracked with the story. But it was just how people don't like the truth. Number one, how people feel like they're entitled, and that's the main problem. Everybody feels like they're entitled to something.
yeah,
Okay,
oh yeah,
I mean, I don't feel like I'm entitled to anything at all. I have to work for what I've earned, and I have to continue to work to keep what I've earned. Okay. Because the fact of the matter is this, I'm not entitled. I'm not an entitled person. I'm not entitled to anything. I'm a human being just like anybody else. Just like anybody else. Right? Just like you two. Okay. But people have this feeling of entitlement. And it's that feeling of entitlement that makes them live in this fantasy world. Okay. In
when
this
you
little
get shot.
bubble. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And to them, what they believe is the truth, and that's the only truth, and that's why you have Karens.
I kind of believe it's like I think of it like this. I wish more of the world were to see through the eyes of like infantry of what me and you've gone through. It's kind of like we didn't give a shit what you personally believed in. We didn't give a shit if you were gay, straight, whatever type of race. As long as you did your job properly and we're there to watch each other's backs, we didn't give a shit. We didn't give a shit as to like what type of ethnicity you are. If we're there to watch your back just as much as you're there to watch ours.
My
I mean,
only question is, where did the push on like everyone's race come from? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I look past everybody equally. I don't like people as it is. I like a very small group of people.
Because a lot
Um,
of people is a lot of things is racialized now. Everything is
yeah, and
deemed to
like,
be
but
race.
think back to when you were a kid, though. Especially you, Pop. You're a little bit older. I think you're about my age-ish, so you're about a little bit older than he is.
four
Think
decades,
back to
baby, 4 decades.
Yeah, so you're 40 something. Okay, I'm 30, I'm 36. But think about back when you were a kid. Race was never the thing.
Mm,
It
ye-
wasn't pushed in media so much.
no, not in the media. No.
No, you
However,
didn't see it. Uh,
growing up in a quote unquote, and I'm going to throw this term out there loosely, but growing up in a quote unquote white town, I did experience quite a bit of racism being, Hispanic. All right. Not from everybody though, but at the same time, this didn't start happening until I was a little bit older, more into my teen years. Okay.
Probably when it started getting pushed more, where everyone was like, "Hey, it's if you're white, you're racist, but everybody else is okay." And it's like
Um, well, I mean,
everybody sucks equally.
when you're 6, 7, 8 years old, you're not thinking about the kid next to you being black or white or anything. You're just
Dude, I'm
children
35 years old. I
playing.
don't think about the person next to me
Yeah.
being black. Like I said, I look past everybody equally.
Yeah. Well, my point is this, right? Um, when you're 7, 8, when you're 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you're not thinking about in the playground what nationality or what race the kid is next to you, right? And it's not until you start getting a little older, and the reason for that is because you got parents that are teaching kids certain things. Oh, I don't want you hanging out with him because he's black. Oh, I don't want you hanging out with that Puerto Rican. Okay, and they start embedding these ideas in the child's head.
Yeah.
Okay, the older generation start embedding these ideas, right? And these ideas have been embedded for so long. I mean, the Willie Lynch speech. Okay, we're gonna go back 300 years to Willie Lynch. Okay, the speech that he gave to create mistrust amongst the slaves, okay, themselves, to allow for the slave owners to keep control of the slaves is still affecting us today. And he said it will last for the next 300 years, if not more. And it's still affecting us today. The only problem is, the only difference between today and then is that it's gone beyond just black and white. Okay. It's spread out to, Hispanics. It's spread out to Mediterranean. It's spread out to Arabics. It's spread out to everybody, here in the States, it's affecting because let's just look at it this way. After 9/11, this is just an example, a more recent example. Okay. And I remember this. Okay. After 9/11, all of a sudden, all of these businesses that were of Muslim, ownership or Islam, okay, were being burnt to the ground, at least in my neighborhood. Okay, for what? I remember this breakfast spot that I used to go to that I loved. One day before I'm beginning my day, I go there and it's burnt down to the ground. Okay, with hate speech written on it. You know what I mean? So, and it's just something bad happens, okay, where it's identifiable to a group of people, that group of people gets attacked. And it's because of the mistrust that's been built. And if you listen to the original Willie Lynch speech, it's that same exact mistrust that's still hitting us today. And that's where all of this comes from, okay?
Yeah.
And prejudice, okay, because this is not racism, this is prejudice. Okay, people are taking prejudice and changing the definition of it and calling it racism.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I mean, but you
Yeah.
can't argue though that and this is something that we touched on last night. You can't argue that it's coming from a distinctive selection of communities. You know, you have, and it's not just the black community. You have the black community, the Hispanic community. You have the Caucasian community where they've started to push where gun violence, drug pushing, gangs and stuff like that has become,
The norm.
exactly the norm.
No.
Like,
No.
you grew up on, in the streets and you sold drugs because because somebody told you that's all you could do. But that wasn't true. It was a personal choice. Life is about choices and, like we said, it's about self accountability.
Right.
You take Barack Obama, for instance, he grew up in Chicago, which is a really shit town. It was a really bad place in the 90s. It still is a bad place, if not getting worse. But he grew up in Chicago, became a fucking lawyer, went to Harvard, became a lawyer, then became the fucking president. So don't tell me you didn't want to do it because it was hard. That's just being lazy. That's having no self accountability. That's having no fucking work ethic.
I'll touch
So I mean, you
Taints with
can't.
y'all. I'll touch
I
Taints
think
with
it-
y'all
I
What
equally.
was
think
that?
it's
I'm sorry. What was
cultural.
that? What did he say?
I'll touch Taints with y'all equally.
Exactly. Like a taint is a taint, bro. It doesn't matter what color it is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it I think is self-segregation, but at the same time, it's pushed in these communities like it's supposed to be cool, it's supposed to be normal, it's supposed to be the thing. And then you've got people like you and me and Warhammer who go through school, go through the hard shit, wake up every day, go to work, and we're scratching our heads like, wait, why don't I have millions of dollars? I'm actually doing shit the right way. I'm not making it to a point where your son ends up on a t-shirt, or I'm not trying to be in prison, or I'm not trying to be a drug kingpin or a rapper, or, if you're a football player, that's great. You're doing something like that's physical, that's physical work. If you're a basketball player, that's great. If you're a baseball player, that's great, but that shouldn't be your only fucking options.
Mm-hmm.
Make your options.
That's true. Yeah.
It's been pushed in the media, and it's being pushed in these communities. It's not the entirety of the communities. I want to make sure that's very clear. But like, these communities don't have that accountability for it. Everybody else is the problem.
Look, all I gotta say is this, man. Me personally, right? When I came to the States, all right, I didn't live in the best of neighborhoods. Okay, initially, I don't live in the best of neighborhoods. I grew up in the
Always been
hood.
there.
When I came to the States, I grew up in the hood, Newark, New Jersey, man, Brick City. Okay, freaking people were getting shot right on the corner. Okay, hell,
It
freaking.
changed.
I remember being 11 years old, 12 years old, man, and I got shot by a stray bullet. Okay, drug dealers all around. Hey, yo, where my money at, man? Where my money at? Pop, 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 pop. Okay, that's where, when I came to the States, that's where I lived. Okay, drugs everywhere, crackheads everywhere, so on and so on. Right? When I came of age, when I was coming of age, all right, as I was getting older, yeah, okay, I got tied up in the drug dealing business as a teenager. Okay, yeah, I did my shit in the hood. Yeah, I boosted cars. Okay, am I proud of all that shit? No, I'm not. All right, but one day I realized that this is not the future that I want for myself. I saw my friends going to fucking jail. I saw my friends freaking ending up in body bags. Okay, my friend Oscar got killed right in front of me. Okay, in a drive-by shooting. Okay, I literally held him as he passed. All right, nobody cared, nobody gave a shit, except for me. All right, and I came out of that. I decided one day, and this is what saved my life. It was a cop. Okay, he said to me, "You got one of two options. Either I take you to jail right now, all right, but you seem like a pretty smart kid. Okay, you get back in school and you come to my house every day after school, you do your homework, okay, until my wife checks it, you ain't going nowhere." I said, all right, cool, I'll take that. It's better than going to jail. I started to get to know this man, prior service Army, okay? His father was in the Marine Corps. His cousin, colonel in the Air Force, okay? All military. So I'm like, you know what? And he started talking to me about it. Since I was a kid, though, I used to always play with G.I. Joes. All right. And since I was a kid, I wanted to be a paratrooper. Okay. I wanted to jump out of airplanes because I played with G.I. Joes. I wanted to be like G.I. Joe. We all know what G.I. Joe did for a living. Okay. And so
Back bodies and fuck hotties.
I said to myself, other than that, but yeah, and I said to myself
Hey,
right there
at
and
10
then,
years old, that's what I was saying to myself.
Yeah,
About
right.
G.I. Joe, stacking bodies and fucking hotties.
and then I said to myself, I said, you know what? This is a fucking sign. So I talked to him. I dropped out of high school again. Okay, back out of high school. I went and took a night course. I took the HSPA, the High School Proficiency Assessment Test, and the High School Diploma Test. And I got my diploma. And on my 17th birthday, I'm off to basic training. Because I knew that if I stayed in the hood, I was going to end up like everybody else. Okay, all these other G's that have been in and out of prison and shit like that. Okay, all these kings, these nietas, Zulu Nation, these bloods that ran around the neighborhood. No offense to them or anything like that. Okay, they live their life how they want to live it. More props to them. Okay, let them do what they do. All right, but that's not the life that I wanted for myself. So I came out. I'm like, I knew my parents weren't going to be able to afford college. So if I wanted to make something out of myself, I knew I needed to do something. So I left. Okay, and everybody back in the hood respected me for it. And when I would come home on leave and in that freaking dress uniform, okay, Freaking everybody calling me Sarge, clapping and shit like that, bro. All of my hood homies clapping and shit like that. I mean, granted, every time I went back home and leave, there were less and less of them. And when I inquired, oh yeah, man, hey, Special is in prison. Hey, this person is in prison. Hey, this person in prison. Oh, this person got killed. Okay, to the point where now there's nobody left because everybody's either dead or in prison. Okay, and I'm the only one out of that crew, okay, who's still around, who did something. But that's because I decided to make something out of myself. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And like, if I could do that, coming from that kind of neighborhood, coming, from a person whose first McDonald's cheeseburger was out of a dumpster, okay, freaking anybody could do it.
No, and that's
Anybody could fucking do it. Like,
Warhammer pushes that a lot.
yeah,
Like, if you got a goal, fucking go for it, bro.
yeah.
And here's the thing: is what you just reminded me of. Pop is a great badass fucking dude, and if you met up with him, you like the sweetest individual. But man's man. I don't know if you've heard the story of Omar Crispy Avila.
No, I have not. I can't say that I have, but I can't say that I haven't.
So he was infantry in the U.S. Army, and so he was deployed right around the time of 9/11 when it was happened. That happened.
Right.
So what happened to him is that he was on a patrol, and he was of course, in a Humvee. He ran over a pressure plate IED, and the shit blew up. I'm not gonna recite the whole thing, but he made 75% of his body burned, and
Yeah.
he is still living life now through what he believes in, still doing his badass things, still going out doing hunting. If going back into perception, like you're thinking that okay, you're on your own deathbed and oh, I'm gonna die. Your own perception is your own reality. It can be bullshit quite a few times. You're like, oh, I need to snap out of this shit and change my prerogative on life.
Just to build on what you just said there, real quick. I like to say your own perception can be your own demise.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's true. If you go back to the whole, like, your eyes are lying to you 99% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right. So
Yeah.
it works.
Like I'd rather much say like I'm a glass half full situation. If I'm looking things in a negative aspect, I'm thinking to myself, you know what, bullshit. I can get past this. If I can do certain things where I was homeless for about like a good 7-8 months after I got out of the Marine Corps. He can vouch for that, and it's like instead of just taking pity upon,
I know the feeling.
Yeah, instead of just taking pity upon myself, I saved about 10% of my paycheck into my savings, and then used that to buy my own place, and then with that, I'm able to go to school, post 9/11 GI Bill, Chapter 33, and learn on and start business and help Article 1776, and to show people that you can fucking do it. You can.
You know what? The funny thing is Article 1776 actually started as something completely different. It started in my fucking kitchen, in this little ass one bedroom apartment that I had. Standing in the kitchen is actually the time that he's talking about when he was homeless. And then we were like, fuck that, we're gonna get somewhere someday. We went separate ways for a little bit. He did his thing, I did my thing, and we got back to good spots. Got back in touch with each other and was like, all right, let's fire this shit off. And bam, Article 1776, as it stands now, was born. One of the things that I know we try to push is just have a fucking solid work ethic and just self accountability. Like, you fuck up, you fuck up. Like, we fuck up all the time, and we're like, hey, bro, this fucking happened. I can't do this. Communication is key. Self accountability, and just having a fairly decent work ethic. We've snipped people out of the equation because of that. Like, This started as like 5 people. We still have a third. He's like a silent partner. He's an EMT. He's training to be a firefighter. So he does his own shit, and like we're here for him. But like because of just like the whole work ethic, self accountability shit, we've snipped people out of the group before. Well, we're down to the final 3 musketeers,
Yeah, you weeded them out, man. That's boot camp.
Exactly.
basically.
But it's like I want to go back and say something about the work ethic real quick. And one thing that I always think about, all right, when it comes to work ethic, all right, is well, actually, it's two things. Number one, I remember a quote from when I was a baby Joe in the Army. Staff Sergeant Lopez said to me, "Don't try, just do." Which also reminds me of the Nike commercial, "Just do it." Okay, it's like
Fuck Nike.
you want to. Well, I'm just talking about the slogan to the commercial. Just do
Yeah,
it. But
I'm
yeah.
just giving a jab.
yeah. But Staff Sergeant Lopez said to me one day, he goes, you got to stop trying and you got to start doing. Don't try, just do. Okay, I was a baby Joe. I was a little E1. Okay, and nobody. And he said to me, he goes like, listen, you just got to stop trying. Just do it.
Tell my son that all the time.
That's it. Just do it. And if you fail, you learn. That's it.
I tell my son that all the fucking time.
And the problem with work ethic is people are afraid of failure. Why? Because we're too busy handing out participation trophies to everybody who just participates.
Oh my god. Yes, I've said that so many fucking times. Have I not?
You have. You have. But guys, Scottsdale, did you guys hear about the company that's producing and encouraging freedom all over?
Article 1776.
Fuck yeah, Article 1776. You can copy.
That's one of my favorite shirts right there.
You can copy up a shirt, send nades. You can use discount codes in the description below. Pop Colonel, if you would like to, you could shout out some of the social medias or some of the charitable organizations that you work with or anything else like that that you would deserve, that you feel like deserves a shout out. Now is your time. It's your platform. What you got?
Oh, damn, putting me on the spot. I don't even know, man. I'll be honest with you. I mean,
Time, baby.
Yeah, to be quite frank, man, I'm not into the whole social media scene. Okay. I'm more of a stick to myself kind of guy. Yeah. That's usually
Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
But you want some nades, man? I got a Mark 19 right up on my roof, bro. Let's go.
Come on, you guys are more than welcome to come down to Florida. Go hunting.
You might get into less trouble with that Mark 19.
All right, guys. I am Matthew Kicklighter. You can find me on Instagram, KicklighterMatthew1988, and you can find me on Twitch. You can find me as MK Warhammer 0311. You can also find our company on Instagram, Article 1776 Clothing, and you can also find us on Twitter, Tweeter, Twats.
Chap snap.
Chap snatagram.
At twitter.com/Article 1776 CL1. That's our Twitter. Scottsdale, what's your socials? What's your shit? What's your stuff?
Scottsdale_87 on Instagram. I finally fucking remembered that because that's not the same. But you can also get me on Twitch and Twatterbook on Scottsdale87.
My guy said Twatterbook.
Twatterbook. Fake Snapchatagram.
All right. We love you guys, and freedom the fuck.